Welcome back to the Weekday Watch, your one-stop shop for all the latest movies and TV shows, where we break down their endings and bloopers, give you exclusive reveals, and cover Hollywood like no one else. The first big drop of 2023 is here. The new Netflix show Kaleidoscope, starring Breaking Bad's Giancarlo Esposito, Rosaline Elbay, and Tati Gabrielle, finally released yesterday.
Let's go.
And naturally, the internet has a lot of questions about the show. In this video, we'll break down Kaleidoscope, from spoiling the ending for you to all the huge Easter eggs we came across. So make sure to stay tuned till the end of the video. And again, subscribe to the Weekday Watch to stay up to date with the latest the industry has to offer. Number 1. Inside the world of Kaleidoscope, what is it about? Before we get into the plot, it's crucial to understand how the show is different from most other Netflix shows. In the past, we've been spoiled by Netflix for binge watching in a certain episode-by-episode structure. However, Kaleidoscope has now flipped the script on its head. The Heist show is the first Netflix show designed to be watched in any episode order. Instead of jumping from the first episode to the second and the next one, Kaleidoscope color codes its episodes and scrambles them up in everyone's personal Netflix account. You can watch the episodes in any order you please. Netflix suggestion: as such, Netflix would prefer you end with the white episode, Act of the Heist itself. Kaleidoscope follows ex-con Leo Papp, who assembles a squad to steal $7 billion in unregistered bearer bonds from a high-security company. The plot takes place over a 24-year period, starting with the violet episode and ending with the pink episode, which takes place 6 months after the heist. You may watch the 8 episodes to discover how the crazy twists, shocking betrayals, and even selfless sacrifices play out. And no, not everyone escapes Kaleidoscope unharmed. In reality, not many characters leave the scene. So, you might be wondering what the true ending is. Is it the end of Netflix's preferred finale, White, the Heist? Or do we need to consider the entire series as a whole? Personally, we think the latter makes more sense. There are a lot of characters who die throughout the 8 color-coded episodes, and the big mysteries are all about how they died, why they died, and who ends up with the $7 billion. With that being said, let's jump straight into the ending. Warning: be prepared to be spoiled. Kaleidoscope ending explained: the winners and the losers. In Kaleidoscope, we see a group of characters involved in a heist, and so in a similar La Casa del Papel manner, there are bound to be a lot of deaths. Let's do a rundown of all the deaths in a chronological manner. The first death occurs in the violet episode when a character named Lily is killed in a fire. In the yellow, 6 weeks before the heist episode, another character named Andrew is killed by a hitman. Later, in the blue, 5 days before the heist episode, RJ is killed by Judy, and Bob is almost killed but survives. In the red, 4 days before the heist episode, Stan's mother and wife are killed by Carlos, who is then killed by Leo and the gang. 6 months after the heist, Bob is killed by the FBI while trying to kill Stan. There are also other deaths throughout the show, including characters being killed by guns, axes, and choking, so if you haven't watched the show yet, do expect a lot of blood and gore and action-packed sequences that will keep you on edge at all times. Number 2. Who's the mystery man? In the final moments of Kaleidoscope, a character named Abassi is approached by a stranger on the street who is seeking directions. After shaking hands with the stranger, she is suddenly killed by a group known as the Triplets, who are dangerous clients of another character named Roger. This death mirrors a description given by another character, Hannah, in an earlier episode. Meanwhile, Leo, who is suffering from Parkinson's disease, is followed by a mysterious man in a park. The final shot of the episode shows this mystery man shooting Leo in the back and killing him. Time for some predictions. We initially believed Stan was the murderer. Stan indeed lost everything as a result of Ray's plan. He lost his mother and his wife, and lost Judy in the end. As a result, he soon realizes that Ray betrayed him for Bob. Naturally, we thought this would cause Stan to turn against his former jailmate. But after seeing the sequence over and over again, we realized that the killer's t-shirt has nothing to do with Stan or his clothing. The adorable characters on the t-shirt have something to do with Agent Abassi. Agent Abassi kept cute stuffed toys on her desk that reminded her of her son. Guess what? We saw the same cute characters on the t-shirt. If you slow down the sequence, you'll notice that the killer's figure also resembles Agent Toby far more than Stan Loomis. Agent Toby was in love with Nazan Abassi and believes that her demise was caused by her fixation on the Ray Vernon case. So it appears that Leo Papp was slain by Agent Toby in Kaleidoscope. Who do you think killed Leo? Write that down in the comments below. Number 3. Who ended up all of the money? In the white episode of Kaleidoscope, it is revealed that Hannah and her sister Liz had staged their own theft during Leo's heist. Hannah had arranged for Liz to work in the mailroom in order to plan the theft. The sisters replace the stolen bonds with fake bonds wrapped in construction paper and then quickly pack the real bonds into FedEx boxes to be sent back to the triplets. The fake bonds are placed in the getaway van. So, quite surprisingly, Hannah stopped her own father's heist and returned the money to the triplets because she knew they were not to be taken lightly, and anyone who steals $7 billion from them would become a target. In the end, the money remains in the hands of the triplets, the main villains of the show. Number 4, time to go hunting for some Easter eggs. According to the show's producer Eric Garcia, who is a major lover of heist movies, every episode of Kaleidoscope pays homage to legendary examples of the genre, including his personal favorite, the 1955 French film Rififi. The creator said, "I would say that each episode has its own unique link. Rififi, which I consider to be the grandfather of all heist movies, continues to be relevant 60 or so years later. It's amazing how excellent that movie still is, and the show's ending, White, is kind of a big tribute to Rififi. They each have their own interests. The show, according to Garcia, features a lot of subtly hidden Easter eggs that viewers might not initially notice. There are many names, for example, look at the names of the companies they are robbing or Leo's yacht in yellow. The majority of the things that are called frequently make references to themselves or to other elements of the program." He continued, "There are absurd small details, such as the need to freeze frame in order to see them and a hexadecimal code that will surface if you do the same on it, scattered throughout the show." While anticipating how audience members would respond to the program's Easter eggs and hidden features, Garcia remarked, he added, "Some people are going to sit and simply want to watch a heist show, and that's wonderful. The aim is for people just to have fun. I truly hope they appreciate it a lot, learn something from it, and are thoroughly entertained." Speaking of Easter eggs, you have been given the deets by Garcia. Now it's time to go hunting. Comment down below your biggest finds when the hunt is over. Number 5, the latest on Season 2 of Kaleidoscope. Because of the show's twists and turns and ensemble cast, fans are definitely excited if there would be a Season 2. Chiming in on that question, the showrunner said in a recent interview, "If we are fortunate enough, we do have plans for this anthology show. We all agreed to create another season of the anthology for Netflix." When asked if the show might have a future akin to American Horror Story, where actors come back to play different roles, or if he'd be interested in going back to the Season 1 characters and expanding on their stories, Garcia remained evasive. "It has undoubtedly been discussed, and there are a number of things that fascinate me." He did, however, mention that there were numerous ways he could return to the Season 1 story. "I believe there are elements of these characters that I adore. Keep in mind, for instance, that there are 17 years between Violet and Green and 7 years between Green and Yellow. You could create a 3-year-long enclosed story about these characters, keep the same characters while creating new ones simultaneously, carry out another heist, or write in a completely different genre. To put it another way, there are various methods to kaleidoscope the kaleidoscope. So, I'm not sure. All I know is that this one is fairly self-contained, and I hope people would simply dive in, give it a shot, and have fun." And that's a wrap for today's video. We hope you enjoyed the twists and turns that the show expended, and hopefully you're excited for more. How do you think a probable Season 2 of Kaleidoscope could unfold? Let us know in the comments below.